Hi guys, this is Mrs. Kalanicki. Alright, so you should have had everything set up. We'll make sure that you have the homework assignment for today. Hope that's going well for you. This is page 6 in our notes. This is lesson 11.4, reading box plots. So what you notice on the front of this page is there are key phrases for making inferences. What we're going to be doing in 7th grade, which is a little different from 6th grade, is instead of just reading the box plots, we're actually going to compare two different box plots either side by side or on the same graph. So we're going to have to make a statement or an inference about what the data is saying based on the box plot. So I can say something about overall sample A has a higher median, wingspan, temperature, test scores than sample B. Second sentence says overall, version 1 has a higher range than version 2. Overall, this one has a lower median something than this one. And overall, this one has less variety than that one. So these are the phrases we're going to be using, so make sure you look back at these. I'll make reference to them in a little bit. Okay, so our first model problem is, this is a biology student is studying two species of parrots. I see the hyacinth macaw and the kakapo. What is the median wingspan of each sample? What inference can you make based on these values? So the first thing I'm looking for is, the key word is median. I'm looking for the median wingspan, and it says what inference can I make? And that's the sentence that I was talking about before. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the medians. If you remember from yesterday when we did box plots, there are 5 key points on the box plot. So one here, one here, one here, one here, and one there. There's the 5. The median is our middle line. So on this one, I'm going to approximate it to be about 42. If you would have said 43, that would have been okay too, even 41. But it's not that close to 40, so I'm going to guess 42. So the median on this one, and you can just write it right in here, because we don't have a lot of places to write it. What about the median for this one? This is something close to maybe 33, 34, something like that. So again, you don't have to be too exact. If they don't allow you, I'm going to say 34 this time. I'm going to go a little bit higher. All right, so now what can we say? We're going to use those sentences above. We're going to pick one that talks about median. So this one says, overall, blank has a higher median than blank. So I'm going to start with that phrase, overall. Actually, I'm going to stop writing and I'm going to, that's all right. Overall, which one do we want to say? We want to say the hyacinth macaw has a higher median what? What was the blank? We're comparing their what? We're comparing their wingspans, how long their wings are. So we're going to say overall hyacinth macaws have, oh man, Miss Kalanicki. That's what happens when I'm not thinking while I'm writing. Have. Overall, the hyacinth macaws have a higher median wingspan than the kakapo. Period. There we go. Nice and simple. Overall, and we like to start with that phrase because in some instances, if you look at the lowest extreme here, it's almost, I would say maybe 29. So in some instances, a kakapo bird might have a larger wingspan than some hyacinth macaws. So if this little bird over here, let's say he's a 29, and this bird over here is almost, 36, 37, right? That's technically higher. But overall, most of these are higher than most of these. So that's why I use that word overall. Okay, good. Moving on to the next one. So for the next one, I want you to do a turn and talk. I'm going to read the question. I will tell you what partners you're going to be using to complete this. So this is two different studies. A psychologist is studying how spending time outdoors affects people's moods. He surveys two samples of people chosen at random. What is the interquartile range of mood levels for each sample? Make a comparative inference about the population based on the IQR. Okay, so I want you and your partner to fill out these blanks. You also need, now because we don't really have a lot of calculations going on, I want you to calculate, I'm going to break this box open. I want you to calculate the IQR for each one of these. And again, if you're not sure what I'm talking about the interquartile range. More specifically, you have to go back to your notes if you don't remember what the interquartile range is. But I want you to get these and then unpause the video and I'll talk about what you want to do next. So fill out all these with your partner. All right. So if you pause the video, you're back. Hopefully you're ready to go over these. Start in order. The median is 7. Quartile 1 was 6. Quartile 3 is 8. Minimum here is 0, and the maximum is 10. Over here, median was 4. Quartiles 1 and 3. Minimum is 0. Maximum is 7. The interquartile range is the range between the quartiles. So I'm going to have to do 8 minus 6 here, which will get me 2. Here, I will have to do 6 minus 2, and that will get me 4. So now, what I'm going to point out to you is when we're talking about median, obviously, I'm going to use a sentence like this and a sentence like this that has the word median in it. What I don't have is these other two where I talk about range and I talk about less variety. I'm talking about the IQR. Less variety, more varied. I'm talking about their IQR. So these two sentences with the arrows, obviously you're going to talk about median. These two sentences, I want you to talk about the IQR. So now, going back to the question we just worked on, pause the video, and you and your partner, I want you to say a sentence. One of you say this sentence, one of you say this sentence, but make sure you're filling it in appropriately. So overall, one of them has a higher range than the other, and overall, one is less varied than the other based on their IQRs. So take a moment, pause the video. Your partner and you both make a sentence involving variety and range, talking about the IQR. Okay, you're back. Here we go. We're on to the next one. So now that you've done this with a partner, you've done this with me, I want you to try one on your own. I'm going to read it. The book publisher is testing 2 versions of a new book. A random sample of people are given 30 minutes to read each version. What is the median of each sample? What inference can you make based on this data? So again, I want the median from each version, and I want you to make a statement about the median. Pause the video, come back when you're ready to talk. Okay, so medians were fairly easy to find. They are in the middle of our data. So version A's median was 25. Version B's median, 23. And again, we're going to make that statement starting with overall. Overall. And again, I could say one is higher than the other, or I could say one is less than the other. It doesn't really matter which way you go. I like to say the higher one. So overall, version A has was a higher median, and again, median what? We're talking here about pages. Higher median number of pages than version B, sorry. There we go. So again, overall, we're making a statement. Overall, this one is higher than this one. There we go. All right. Next ones. Again, I want you to try some of these on your own. There's number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Read the directions very carefully. Some say to find the median and the IQR. Some say to just find the median. This one has you finding a lot of different stuff. So pause the video, try them. Seriously, try them. When I'm talking about making the inference, make sure you're going back and you're looking at those sentence starters to help you make an inference. For this particular one, you can actually write 2 different sentences. One talking about the median and one talking about the IQR. Which one has more variety than the other one? So try to make 2 sentences for the next one. 2 sentences for number 2. One about the median, one about the IQR. Pause the video when you're ready to go over all of the questions. All right, here we go. So median for the cell phone group was, between 6 and 7. Let's see. Be 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. No, that's not going to fit. 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, 6.8. No. 4, 8. I'm not sure what these are. I'm going to say it's right in the middle, though. So I'm going to say 6.5. Whew. Tricky. And the IQR. I need 2 numbers for the IQR. I need the upper extreme and I need the lower extreme. All right, well, let's see here. These are going to have to be 0.25s, I think, yeah. So this one, this is tricky. If you want to be very technical about this, this number is actually going to be 7.25 because there are, if you look carefully, 4 spaces between each one. Now, if you guessed and you said 7, that would be okay also for the time being, but I'm going to be very particular and I'm going to use the exact number. The other number is 5, right on the money. So in my calculator, 7.25 minus 5, I get 2.25. Median over here is, it looks like 7.5. And the IQR here looks like 8 on the top. And the lower looks like 6 point, again, being very, very particular, 6.75. So in my calculator, typing those in. Now, 2 sentences I can write. 1 sentence is going to deal with the median. 1 sentence is going to deal with the IQR. So again, overall, actually I might type it just because it'll be a little smaller. Overall, now I gotta go back and look what I was talking about. Overall, I like to do higher, so I'm going to say the non-cell phone group. Let's get some of this out of here. Overall, the non-cell phone group there we go. Has a higher median hours slept than the cell phone group. Shrink this a little bit. Come here. There we go. Shrink it in. Whoa, going crazy. All right. And then I'm going to say the non-cell phone group was less varied, which means they have a smaller IQR. There's not as much variety in the hours that they slept. If you take a look, you see how the box is actually very small. It's very tight compared to this one, a little more spread out. So the non-cell phone group was less varied. The cell phone group was more varied. All right. Take a moment, copy it. I'm moving on to the next one. Here we go. You need to pause if you need to. All right. So again, this one doesn't have the box. So if you want to make a box to organize your information. We're doing median and IQR. Here we go. So the median for this one is, well, this is 6. This must be 7. This must be 8, which means this is going to be about 8.5, making this guy about 10, and the lower quartile 6, making my IQR 4 over here. Again, got a little trickier each time. Median was 4. IQR is 6 here and 3 here, which makes this 3. Make an inference. Here we go. I'm going to say start the word again. Overall, we don't know. So let's call them sample 1 and sample 2. Sample 1 has a higher median than sample 2. Sample 2 is less varied. Or you could say sample 1 is more varied. Again, both of these sentences you can say in different ways. You can say sample 2 has a lower median than sample 1. I should have labeled these for you. Sorry, guys. Hope it wasn't too confusing. Okay, on to the next one. This one, it was kind of interesting, the multiple choice question. It's asking you which is the correct box and whisker plot. It's kind of cool. So when I first looked at this, I said, wow, looks really confusing. I'm going to have to do a lot of work. And then I looked kind of carefully. I realized, oh, they're already in number order, so I don't have to do that. So that's cool. And then I started looking and I realized that these kind of look alike, except this one. This one looks a little different. And it's different because this number is 2. And I noticed there's not a 2 here, so that one's out. Then I realized, okay, the rest of them are starting and ending where they're supposed to be. They start at 5 and they end at 19. So I couldn't cancel any more out from that. But now I realize my next step is just going to have to be to figure out the median. So I started with checking off 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. No shortcuts. 6, 6, 7, 7. Ah, there's my middle number. 10. And there's only one that has 10 as the median, so I'm done. Hooray, there's my median. 10. Lower extreme is 5, upper extreme is 19. So this one is absolutely correct, and the other 2 are not. Hope you like that one. That was a cool question. And the final one, again, identifying information from a box plot. This is something you're going to need to do for your quiz, which is going to be tomorrow. We're going to review and do it for your quiz. You're going to need to know, if I'm asking you, hey, what's the median of this? You're going to need to be able to tell me it's, that's pretty close. Let's see. You could have said 20. I would have accepted it. I wouldn't have accepted 21 because it's definitely not. But I'm going to be more precise and say 20.5 because it's right in between. Quartile 1. Ooh. Again, it's not 15 technically. I'll give you 15. I'll say okay, but you should be more precise. Quartile 3 is 26. The minimum, that's 5, so that's 6, so that's 7. And the maximum, that's 25, 26, 27, 28. That looks exactly 29. Range. Now, haven't talked about range too much. Range is just the highest number minus the lowest number. That's it. So I'm going to do 29 minus 7. And I will get 22. And my IQR, again, standing for interquartile range. So again, range means to subtract, so I'm going to subtract the quartiles. 26 minus 14.5. Again, being very precise with my numbers. Putting them in my calculator. Final answer, 11.5. Okay. Hope you had fun with this activity. talking more about box plots. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a little review and a quiz. If you have any questions, feel free to ask the sub or Miss Freifeld, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.